A terrific session that we just heard from observers of the political scene. Now we're going to talk to somebody who is a leader of the political scene, and we're very honored to be joined right now by the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. Before we get into issues like COVID relief and other matters, I want to say that over the years we've had a wonderful working relationship in the sense that we can disagree, Senator McConnell and the real estate industry. But we've always had a situation where we could make our perspective known. We would talk about jobs, we talk about benefits to communities, we talk about economic growth. And if all of that matches up, we can count on Senator McConnell's support. And we thank you for that, sir. So we're going to spend some time talking about the COVID bill. We're going to talk about the elections. But I'd like to start off with the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how that has now moved front and center regarding the process and the way in which the Senate will take up the president's nomination. Would you like to comment on that for just a few minutes? Thank you.
Well, look, even before this Supreme Court development, we already knew how radical the Democrats are these days. They've been very candid about it for months. If they take the whole government, they intend to, in the Senate, get rid of the legislative filibuster, turning the Senate into the House, the simple majority body, admit D.C. and Puerto Rico as states, which will give them 4 new Democratic senators. And then they're going to pack the courts by adding seats to the Supreme Court, the circuit courts, the district courts. So all the threats that they're laying out in the wake of this newly created vacancy on the Supreme Court were already there. We know what they're going to do, so we're not going to let them intimidate us into going forward on this nominee. One thing we know for sure is in 2016, had the roles been reversed and had there been a Republican president nominating a Supreme Court justice for a vacancy created in a presidential year to a Democratic Senate, they wouldn't have acted. In fact, Joe Biden, when he was chairman of the Judiciary Committee in '92, in exactly that situation, said that if there were a nominee, he wouldn't fill it. So we were not acting in any way differently in 2016 than they would have if they'd been in a similar situation. Now, fast forward to today. Does anyone have any doubts if there were a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate right now, with this much time left in the year, they would defer filling the vacancy? Of course not. So the American people gave us the White House in 2016 and the Senate, and they re-upped the Senate in 2018, right on the middle of the Brett Kavanaugh fight. So the Supreme Court was a front and center issue in the 2018 off-year election, and we gained 2 seats. So of course we're going to move forward with the president's nominee. We expect to have, as he indicated, a woman nominee by the end of the week, and I expect it to be an extremely well-qualified individual, and we intend to process the nomination.
Senator, thank you for those comments. Let's spend just a second on Senate races in general, where you see the Senate races. What are the most key Senate races? What are you working on politically? And how do you feel about the coming elections in general for control of the Senate?
Well, the stakes are big and the class is big. This is a huge class. This is the class that took us to the majority in 2014. We have 23 members up. They only have 12. So we have a lot of exposure. Plenty of opportunities to go backward. They only have 12 up. 2 of those are competitive for us, Alabama and Michigan. Everywhere else we're on defense in Montana, Colorado, Arizona, Iowa, North Carolina, Maine, and Georgia. So this is a 50-50 proposition. Could go either way. The stakes are enormous because every senator at the beginning of the session casts the most important vote, and that's for who gets to be the majority leader. Why do I say that's the most important vote? The majority leader is the only one of the 100 of us that gets to decide what we're going to do, to set the agenda, to decide the things you aren't going to take up. And if I'm the majority leader and Chuck Schumer isn't, we're not changing the legislative filibuster and turning the Senate into the House. We're not admitting the district in Puerto Rico to give the other side 4 new Democratic senators in perpetuity. And we're not packing the courts. The late Justice Ginsburg said she thought 9 was a good number. She was right. It's been 9 since 1869, and it ought to continue to be 9. And if I'm the majority leader of the Senate, it will continue to be 9.
Thank you for that, Senator. Let's look now at the COVID relief bill, the negotiations that have been on and off, mostly off, I think, the disagreements between the Republican negotiators and the Democratic negotiators. Where do you see this situation now? Do you think we can get more relief? There's a number of businesses, and certainly the real estate business and our tenants need relief, but the general economy, where do you see COVID relief going, and how might we be helpful, frankly?
Well, I hope so. It is important to note, however, the economy has bounced back better than most people predicted. I think unemployment now is roughly where it was in some of the years in the first term of President Obama. Too high, but not what was anticipated. But I do think we need another boost, and we've tried hard to do that. I don't think we ought to spend $3 trillion as the House did back in May, or proposed to do back in May, by passing yet another package that was as big as the package we'd already passed. I mean, we've added about $3 trillion to the debt already in March and April with the CARES Act and some companion pieces. It needed to be done. I think it was highly effective, particularly the small business loan program, and the help to hospitals and others who were struggling through this twin crisis of both healthcare and economic crisis. But I do think we need another boost. I laid out a plan of roughly $1 trillion. I can remember when that used to be considered a lot of money. That seemed to be insufficient. We actually passed in the Senate an even slimmer version of that, making sure we had liability protection for everyone dealing with the coronavirus: hospitals, doctors, nurses, colleges, universities, K through 12, businesses, so they would not be subject to an avalanche of lawsuits on the heels of the pandemic we were already struggling through. It would also add money for education, extremely important to get the kids back in school, replenishment of PPP, and more help for hospitals. So I do think we need another package. Speaker and the Democratic leader in the Senate seem to be comfortable not doing anything at all. I wonder how they're going to react when massive numbers of employees of our airlines are given pink slips on October 1st. The airline industry is an example of an industry that needs help. I know you would argue that people in the real estate business who are not being paid rent because of the eviction moratorium need some relief as well. And so I think there are plenty of things that would hopefully get us back together to have a discussion sooner rather than later. But regretfully, my view is that they are perfectly content to let people suffer until the election's out of the way.
Senator, thank you for the comment on rent. We do obviously think that helping business tenants, helping residents have money to pay rent currently helps everyone, helps jobs, it helps lenders, it helps state governments. It's good all the way around. So thank you for your comment on that, and hopefully we can see some relief there as well. We also, as you might know, have supported changing the Fed lending facility, particularly the Main Street lending facility, to be more accommodative to the types of businesses that need help today. You've appropriated hundreds of billions of dollars, which currently is not being used by the Treasury and the Fed. Do you see that coming back to be reallocated, or can it be amended at the Fed to be more useful?
Yeah, it's my understanding the Fed can't do a grant. So I think for a lot of businesses, you've indicated that Main Street lending program simply didn't make sense. So I think reprogramming that money is something we ought to look at, but it's going to require sitting down with the Democrats and resuming discussion in order to potentially get an outcome. Right now, there's no discussion, no talk. So we're at an impasse.
Senator, I know you're a sports fan, like I'm a sports fan. Many people view sports as an escape and as a way to relax and get away, and I know you agree with that, and I know you're happy that the Louisville Cardinals are playing again. Did they win this week? I'm not sure. How'd they do?
Well, they lost. They lost Saturday night, but I'm glad they're playing.
Senator McConnell, again, it's a great pleasure to have you with us today. Again, I know how hard all senators work and the demands on their time, and for you to give the Real Estate Roundtable some of your time is very commendable. And we look forward to continuing our very positive working relationship. Is there anything that you would like to close with, some comments that you think that our industry and our members should know about, and where do you see things going just in general as a message to us?
Yeah, Jeff, first, thank you for the opportunity, and thank your members for all they do for our economy. We're going to get through this very, very challenging year. With regard to the coronavirus, it's going to take a vaccine. And in the meantime, I'll say to all you, your members, what I say to everybody: wear a mask and practice social distancing. Let's get through this until we get a vaccine and put this thing in the rearview mirror forever. Thanks again for the opportunity to be with you today.
Again, Senator, thank you so much. You have a very busy next couple of months, but that's nothing new for you. Godspeed, stay healthy, and we look forward to working with you in a very positive way in any way that we can. Thank you very much.